Joining me now is John Tolomer, CEO and President of the Westchester Bank. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
All right, so there is a lot of uncertainty out there. What is most important to a guy like you running Westchester Bank?
Running a community bank, I think, Sandra, the most important thing is to be able to deploy your capital, and you really want to do that by making good, solid loans and building relationships.
So what concerns you the most right now when you try to do that?
Credit quality is something you have to always be mindful of. There's going to be more and more competition for high-quality credits, and so as a result of that, sometimes people compromise their credit standards, and that can become problematic in the future. So it's credit quality, it's building relationships, it's cybersecurity is another obvious concern for banks.
And then that probably costing you a lot of money as well.
It certainly is. That and compliance are two major expenses that banks deal with.
So the UK's exit from the EU, is that too broad of a concern for a community bank?
I think it is at this point, unless you have a strong client base that's doing a lot of international finance business. It has less to do for community banks. Community banks are more focused on small, medium-sized businesses in their marketplace. And really, across the country, I guess 40% of the small business lending is being done by community banks.
As far as expenses that you have faced trying to grow your business, what part has healthcare costs played?
Healthcare has been up about 20% year over year.
Wow.
And that's a concern for small, medium-sized businesses. We hear all the time people trying to keep their businesses less than 50 employees to stay away from the Obamacare, and that becomes a major issue. So small, medium-sized businesses, entrepreneurs, they're the ones that create the jobs in this economy, and I think that they look at that as a big headwind for them.
John, we're coming up on the 6th anniversary of the enactment of the Dodd-Frank law governing financial institutions. Can you tell us, you mentioned compliance as a big issue.
Sure.
What has that done to your ability to lend, to your costs, to your daily life?
Well, it hasn't negatively impacted us, but you do have to be mindful of all of the different compliance issues that you have to comply with. And so as a result of that, you really are able to build relationships, but you add cost with compliance officers and making sure that you are complying with, and regulation, and Dodd-Frank is a little bit of a moving target. It's not completely implemented. And so as a result of that, you want to be sure you work closely with your regulators so that you can operate your business.
All right, I'm wondering about small businesses. You mentioned those in particular. We've seen in this area a lot of credit going. You mentioned high-quality credits, also big companies, big governments.
Sure. Less
credit going to small businesses. Now, you look at surveys, and it's a little question of chicken and the egg. Do the small businesses not want to borrow because they're fearful, or do you not want to lend, or are you not able to lend because of regulation?
Banks clearly want to lend. When you look at a 10-year Treasury at 136, it closed on Friday, what do you do? How do you deploy your capital? There's really not much in the way of investment that makes any sense, so you want to make loans. And a bank like ours has been able to grow because of that. Again, what you have to do is find the transactions and the relationships that make sense. So you're looking at primary sources of repayment, you're looking at secondary sources of repayment. But those are the credits that every bank wants to do. So you are really competing. And we compete, while we're a community bank, we're competing with the largest financial institutions in the world.
That being said, many of them reporting earnings this week. We have to leave it there, but John, your take quickly on the political environment in this country and what that means for your business.
Great deal of uncertainty. And uncertainty leads people to be a little reticent to expand their businesses. It's a wait-and-see atmosphere.
Politicians like to talk about helping small businesses, and they have no idea how to do it.
That's correct.
John Tolomer, good to have you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.